I'm Mike Shapiro.
And I'm Rodney Mathews, and welcome back to Read the Tape.
So our next guest is a super important person, maybe the most important guest we've ever had.
Some may say.
I know this, and so I am not going to introduce her. You are, so take it away.
All right, well, today's special guest, all right, is a little bit more extra special for me. I'll explain why, but this woman has started her own nonprofit foster family agency. She has opened up a mental health clinic and also transitional housing program for the kids in our community out there in the Inland Empire, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, a lot through SoCal, okay? These are massive areas, and she each and every day is continuing to make a change and impact within her community and positively impact these kids' lives on a daily basis. So this woman is none other than my mom, a.k.a. Moms, Carrie Mathews. All right, she is obviously one of my favorite, probably my most favorite person to have on the show for a reason, but she's coming out here with a pedigree, right? She has the Entrepreneur of the Year under her belt. She manages her own nonprofit. I mean, this woman is, you know, my hero and my superwoman and my Wonder Woman. So I'm so grateful to have her on the show. I mean, she is the reason I am the man today. And I think everyone could take a piece of what she's got to say. So I'm really excited to have her on today. So when we come back, we'll have the one and only Moms, aka Carrie Mathews, on the show to share exactly what she does with her nonprofit.
All right, well, today we have a super special guest.
I'd have to say it's the most special guest.
I would agree with that.
In my life.
So I am going to let you take this away because I am not going to touch that.
Thank you very much. Yes, today's special guest is the woman who brought me into the world. So yeah, she's pretty important in my life. It's the one and only Moms, aka Carrie Mathews. Mathews with one T. Get it right. Started from the beginning. Welcome to the show, Moms. You know, I'll address you as Moms. I know Mike will say Carrie, but
whatever you prefer.
You know, yeah. I can't say my mom's first name like that. That's weird. You know, I'm not one of those people. I can't do it. And from a very young age, she taught me, like, be respectful. That was the first thing Moms taught me, was to be polite.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, Moms, we're so grateful to have you today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Great.
First podcast?
Very first.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
A podcast novice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's a
That's
rookie.
awesome.
Seasoned vet when it comes to being an entrepreneur, but she's a rookie in the podcast
Rookie in the
game.
podcast world.
All
yes.
right, so we are grateful to have you. I think Mike has a question first before I go straight into my shtick, because I have a lot to talk about with this one right here.
Yeah, there you go. You put me right on the spot. So tell me something embarrassing about Rodney.
Jeez, straight to it? Oh, my God. Come on.
I'm having fun. I'm having a little fun. Tell me something that we don't know about Rodney. Not to be personal.
Wow,
Nothing
this is
too
funny.
personal.
Actually, I was discussing this with my grandson the other day, and we were talking because he's entering middle school, and we were talking about all the activities and his options. And I said, you know, your uncle played the saxophone
Way back in the day.
way back in the day.
Yeah.
And he looked at me crazy because he knows about this amazing football player. And I said, no, he played that
Oh,
saxophone
there you go.
Yeah.
There you
for
go.
about 2 years.
We're talking 5th and 6th grade. I had the fedora.
No way.
My teacher always got mad at me, though, because my reed would get messed up quick and I wasn't replacing it fast enough.
Where is the sax now?
Oh,
long gone. we
Yeah,
have
like,
no
this
clue
has
where
gotta,
it
This has
is.
got to be a prop.
There's
We're gonna
only-
put it up there. You know.
I was going to say, yeah, don't have it up there above the books. Don't have that be the focal point. But yeah, I remember having a couple pictures back in the day of me on the saxophone. No one believed me. And I was like, I was really, really good. Now, obviously, I was a kid, so, you know, I thought I was Kenny G at the time. You know, I was just so smooth. You know, take me to a jazz club, I could hold my own. But I couldn't, you know, I was just a kid. But I loved it, though. It was like a cool little side thing outside of, like, football and track and basketball. I really enjoyed it.
That's
So,
great.
It was
I
great.
love that.
Not
Yeah.
a lot of people knew that about
No?
me.
Well, I was a musical failure when I was
What?
in school.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible. In fact, I was so bad that I remember it being in an elementary school band or something like that, and my parents required me to do two things: play a sport and play an instrument. So I was not very good at music, so I chose the bass, you know, the giant thing was like bigger than me. It was like in elementary school. And I remember sitting on stage and I was so bad at it of course, my parents always celebrated everything I failed at. That, whatever the school concert, the holiday
Yep.
concert. And I remember that the music teacher said, make sure the bow doesn't touch the strings. So my father thought that was the funniest thing he ever heard. And he's like, that's my kid. That's my, so anyway, I was a musical failure.
Yeah, it was hype.
I don't have that bass anymore. Anyway.
I feel like you were a good singer back in the day.
Oh, yeah, right.
You could sing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you got a
yeah.
Christmas Carol in you or two.
Oh,
I just
yeah,
feel it,
100%.
man.
Yes, I have a
just
Christmas
feel
Carol. Okay, so the biggest question in the room, your son was on a reality show, The Bachelorette. Obviously, he was very successful at it. He's become an influencer, and all sorts of things have happened. So how did that happen? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What were you thinking? Did you nominate him? What happened?
Yeah, great questions. No, I did not nominate him. It was very odd how he was approached, but he did. He actually called me and explained everything, and I wasn't shocked that he was approached because, of course, handsome as heck.
Just a little biased.
And so we were explaining everything. We kind of went through the process together, and I wasn't nervous for him at all. I actually embraced it. I know that it was something that he wanted to do, and I actually told him to go for it. I really wanted him to experience it. I've always encouraged him to go for it, take that leap of faith, and just utilize all his skills and talents to the best of his abilities, and to just go for it.
Well, obviously, it came out great.
Exactly.
Were you worried at the time? Or like, you hear all these stories of reality shows, and the contracts obviously say they can film whatever they want. You've got no control.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no edits, that kind of thing. Were you concerned, or you were just 100% sure my kid's got it, he knows what he's doing, that's it?
You know what, Mike? That is a great question, because I'm never like 100% sure about anything. I'm kind of questionable sometimes. However, the reality thing was a little nerve-wracking for me. But I knew he had it. And I never doubt for a minute, because like he mentioned respect earlier, he's always been extremely respectful. And he's always, he represents our family so well. And everything that
That's
we
really
do.
Sweet. That's nice.
Right?
Wow.
And
That one always hits home. She hits me with that one.
And everything that we
That's
do is
nice.
kind of faith-based, so we would pray on it.
Prayed a lot about it.
And like I said, I
great.
just gave him the thumbs up, the green light, and he went for it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, it worked out.
It did.
a good
It
job.
really did.
To say the least, yeah.
Yes.
I had so many late nights, early mornings, just a lot of prayer sessions, and I needed that guidance and that spiritual guidance as well. But God knew, like, I just needed to pray about it, and I needed mom's approval. And it's like that's it for anyone who's close with their parent. I know a lot of people can relate. Anything that you're going through in life, especially a potential life-changing decision, if you have your parents' backing and their support, that's really all you need to get through. And that alone, that support, will bring you the confidence that you need to get through that major challenge or whatever big step that could be in your life. So that was huge for me at the time.
I think you've identified, clearly one of the most important aspects to, culture, capability, future endeavors, future success. I've always said, that beginning, that support, that, parenting, it's, I coach a lot of people, as you know, and it does go back to some degree in how to fill in that gap. So many people don't have that. So many people don't have that,
Exactly.
sort of, how do you say it? Unconditional love.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
And whatever
So-
their foundational piece is,
Sure.
whether it's faith-based or parents or friends and family and support system, like you have to have that support first in order to kind of bring that confidence out of you.
That's great.
So
Absolutely.
it's
Well,
very
it works.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
Thank
And
you.
you know what?
Worked
It's
out.
funny that you guys touch upon that, because I've been an Olympics junkie lately, staying up all hours of the day and night. And it's funny because when you talk to our medalists, they all say the same thing. That
Well, it's a
their
family
support, their
commitment. My
connection, their
gosh.
family
Yeah.
commitment, exactly, on what got them there, and seeing
Yeah,
that
think about that.
foundational support and encouragement.
Decades
Decades.
of commitment,
Right.
money,
Yes.
disruption. I mean, it is like
Right.
it is moving.
And
to
they all
see.
speak on the same thing, that it's that familial and
Right.
family and friends support and even their spouses, but it's that's
it's moving to see
foundationally
that. It is.
exactly
It is.
all
I
of
love-
that support is
We
so
were
important.
just watching the men's 100-meter final.
Right.
And with that, I mean, obviously Noah Lyles winning, USA,
Sure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We love that. But just the coolest part about it was the camera shining on his mom
Sure.
and her reaction. And that's one of the coolest things you can ever see, is just how proud she is in that moment. It's like
course.
all her hard
Yes.
work led to his hard work, and now seeing it on a global stage.
Right.
Arguably one of the most popular events of all time. It's just so cool to see. And so
Yeah, it
I
was.
love seeing that action.
It's like
live.
one of the why people I mean, in my opinion, of course, like people love sports.
Yeah.
Because there's really no gray. Business is gray.
Yep.
Right.
To some
right.
degree, everyone says there's no gray. It's only one or another. But the reality, sports are there's a winner, there's a loser.
Yes.
You
Yep.
put the work in, you show your capability, and then
Exactly.
sure enough, you win. So I
There
think
you
it's
go.
what the why we all embrace it.
Yep.
Yes, definitely.
Versus you can work like literally your ass off.
Yeah.
And like, in a business and you be passionate about it. You have all the support in the world and still something may not happen or
Right.
may happen. So it's just like one of those things. I think that's why we all like love to watch those winners in
Oh,
Yeah.
sports.
love it.
We
yeah.
get it. And this is a table full of winners right here.
There you
All right,
go.
and I'll transition that into
Yeah, there you go.
how you started
Segue.
your smooth segue.
There you go.
I want to know about how, obviously I know a lot already, but I'd like to get some further detail on how you started your journey and your process with your nonprofit. And I know there's multiple sectors now, but I want to go to the beginning of the Heart Matters Foster Family Agency and how that all began for you.
Oh, great questions. So I worked for many years in the sector, governmental sector, and then I became kind of like a supervisor for an identical organization, and was there for 10 years, their leadership for that entity, and really saw a lot of things that I thought could use a lot of improvement. And especially when it came to youth, especially when it came to the families. And so when I was pitching my ideas, they were immediately shut down. And so I thought, well, okay, I think I can do this better. And so it took many years, though, sitting in that position, being patient and waiting and just kind of being steadfast and praying over the whole situation. Took a lot for me to earn the money to open the business, and then I just went for it. I took the leap of faith, did a lot of planning, and really just kind of focused, was resilient. I met with a lot of adversity along the way, but then it just kind of came to me. I know I could do this better. I know I could serve this population on a much higher level, and I just went for it.
So, like, what's I mean, I don't mean to ignorant. So, what's the differentiation? Obviously, what you're doing is a very important part of society, and it's some of the worst situations that children are in, and you're providing them safe homes and giving the ability to survive, excel,
Right.
create.
Yeah.
So, what is that you feel like as far as being an entrepreneur in this sector, what is it you feel your differentiation? You know how you have to have differentiations. How do you succeed? How do you
Yes.
not? So, what do you
Yes.
think it was, other than you were being shut down? So, what were those ideas? If you don't mind me
Great
asking.
question. I don't mind at all. So, a lot of people in our business, as they should be, are focused on the children. But that's a no-brainer. You want to help children in need. You want to help this population. However, the difference that I brought to the table was really focusing on the families that take care of them. A lot of organizations and agencies within my industry kind of bypass that and go, yeah, go ahead. You're going to get a check. You're going to do this. They get their medical. They get their dental and all that. Go ahead and be a great caregiver. But nobody trains them and educates them and supports them and encourages them along the way. And I thought, hey, we need to take a harder and deeper look at that, because they are what makes all of this happen. And so if I help you become more educated, if I love on you more, if I give you what you need to be a better caregiver, then you're going to love what you do even more. Even though you bring your heart to the table, I'm going to give you all those resources and tools to actually make you a better parent.
When you are providing, a core service to help others, there is not a profit motive, nor should there be.
Right.
However, our society dictates a way of doing things in order for it to accomplish the goal, which ends up being a business strategy or an entrepreneurial strategy, or like, how do I make this work? Because I still need funds in order for this to function, and I need to provide, accounting and all the other aspects of it.
Right.
Even though the purpose, I don't mean to speak for you, is, designed around, helping for the greater good.
Yes.
And then obviously
Yes.
corporations are looking for their excess funds that they have to help to be part of community. So
Correct.
maybe you want to sort of opine on your business sense. Obviously you're successful at it.
Yeah.
So like maybe you want to opine on some of your business sense or your entrepreneurial spirit and putting that into what you're doing.
As a female entrepreneur, I still had to bring in that business aspect along with the big heart of being empathetic and wanting to really uplift my families. But then on the flip side, because that was during the day, and at night I had to go home and grind and crunch numbers and see how I was going to get licensed and deal with governmental entities and paperwork and documents and all of that. So it's like a crazy combination of it all.
What did you do previously? Were you in business, or were you always in the nonprofit sector, or were you maybe this was directed that way?
Always in the nonprofit sector. So basically, I was a single mom of 2 boys, and I had to become extremely resourceful because my lack of funding was kind of an issue.
Sure.
And so I really, I did thrive in becoming extremely resourceful. And then when I did get my degree, I thought, I'd really like to apply myself in an organization that does the same thing. So I always kind of went for nonprofit, slid into the governmental aspect, working for Children and Family Services, and then went back into an organization like mine, a foster family agency. So always in nonprofit.
Did you feel like that your, and I don't mean to delve into your personal life, sorry about that.
It's okay.
But did you feel that like the driver was that you were a strong person, a strong woman, that you raised 2 sons as a single mom, that you wanted to share that capability, and that you saw that what was happening within the framework of that? Was
You hit
that
it right
part
on
of
the
your
head.
motivation?
You actually hit it right on the head. As I was kind of thinking about the podcast last night, I thought, God, where does all this come from? And that's exactly what my motivation was. It took from what my personal experience was in the struggle, in the adversity, in thinking on my feet, thinking while parenting, working 3 jobs at once, putting myself through school. I'm like, okay, how can I help others along their path, along that journey? And so that's where all of it stems from.
Well, that is, hey, super mom. That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, that really
Thank you.
is. I mean, that's, a tremendous thing to say, like the amount of diversity that you had,
Right.
that you had accomplished, that you raised 2 obviously wonderful children,
Yes, thank
and
you.
where did you go? And then you made a decision to, apply that strength of being to others to help those. So that's incredible.
Right.
So,
Thank you. My
really,
thanks.
I mean, it was obviously intense seeing it, growing up. There were nights that she would come home from work, and like we said, this woman right here was working 3 jobs, and going to school, and still making sure that my brother and I had food on the table. To this day, I don't know how she did it. I don't know how anyone could do that, but it literally, we say superwoman. I call her all the time. She's my Wonder Woman, because, till this day, she'll always be my hero and my biggest inspiration. And to witness that and what she went through in her struggle, it always inspired me to be like, okay, I see what she's going through. If she can do that, then I can do whatever I can to make sure that she's happy and make sure she's proud. Because there were nights that she was coming home from work and just crying. She couldn't help herself because of just life and the world and overwhelming, and especially the work that she's doing. She's taking care of these kids and making sure that she's placing them into good homes and good situations because they're surviving such terrible trauma. You know, trauma that it's just worse than all of our own nightmares, but she has to be the one to shoulder that and make sure that she's there for those therapy sessions, there to place them in the right home, in the right placement. So it's something where obviously I can't speak enough about it. I was like, it's either going to happen at the beginning, middle, or end of this episode, but I got to chime in and give my 2 cents because of everything that you brought into my life while still impacting in a positive way all the kids throughout our community, all throughout Riverside County, San Bernardino County, all throughout the Inland Empire. It's amazing work that you do. And at the end of the year, every single year, through her organizations, she throws the biggest Christmas party for every single kid and parent. And those kids walk away with a bag about this big, and I've handed them out because one year I played Santa Claus. All right, and I was pretty good
That
on the
is
dance floor.
Fantastic.
But the gift bag is this big, and she makes sure that they all write a list of just, hey, 10 to 15, 20 gifts that you think you might get from Santa this year. And she makes sure that she knocks out the entire list.
Wow. Well,
And it's all filled in that bag.
count me in on helping you get the thing. So, yeah,
right.
my gosh, that's really
Thank
moving.
you.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
And we love that. So
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
had to, I didn't want to chime in too soon.
No,
but
that's
I was just
amazing.
Yeah, I think the questions that you brought up were so good because it sparked what I already knew within her and the memories of me growing up, witnessing what she was going through in order to accomplish this dream that she has today.
It's like you bring up, this is really great conversation, deep, meaningful conversation
Yeah.
versus, talking about just profit motive. So this is really awesome.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, like, we never really see, we talk to people during the day or, all these successful friends or, like why, what happened or, what was the base or, it's like a big driver. I mean, for me, it's always been my father. I wrote a book because of my father. My isms and that I talk about was just driven in large part because of the horror that he saw and that he wanted to not have that for his children and then what he essentially gave me the existence that I have today or the confidence or the capability. So it's great to see this. It's great to see it firsthand, to witness it, because I think everybody has these stories and what you do. And it's great that you're trying to replicate this for all these other children and trying to provide that service. That's amazing.
I remember meeting you, and as soon as you told me about the relationship with you and your dad, it made me think of us, just
That's
how
great.
close you guys were and just how close we are,
Yeah,
So
that-
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, no, I mean that's awesome. So you have all of these kids. How many can you count now? I mean, you're doing this for a while. Is it hundreds or 1,000 people?
Well, we've served thousands. We've served thousands currently in care. We have over 100. I have 58 families. And
So you manage 58 families?
I manage 58 families and over 100 children, and and then we service them through our mental health clinic, and there's all kind of departments that we have, and I service the youth from 0 to 21. Because not only did I open a mental health clinic, I opened a transitional housing program because my kids were starting to age out at the age of 18 in the foster care world. And I thought, this doesn't make any sense. Nobody's ready at 18. What do I do? So I did my research and I opened up another department.
There's your entrepreneurial spirit.
It
You're
is, it is.
No, they're like, okay, let's pivot here.
What do I do?
It's
What
like-
do I
Right,
do?
you
Where
gotta
do I
shift.
go,
It's like she
And-
saw into the future, like, wait a minute, there's a
Right.
problem that no one else has addressed. I need to address
Right.
it within my
Because
organization.
when I was 21, I certainly wasn't an adult.
No.
Right.
No
right.
one's
I'm not
ready.
No one's
I'm
ready.
not sure I'm an adult.
No one's
now.
ready to
That's all another
officially,
story.
That's like, no one's ready to officially grow up at 18. That's tough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So how does that,
Yeah.
are you very unusual in this transitional housing situation?
Well, there's a huge need, and our state and government started realizing, what are we going to do with this population? They're becoming homeless. They're becoming trafficked. All kinds of
Oh, wow.
horror
Oh,
stories.
boy.
Horrible thing.
And so, I kind of sat down, I put my pen to paper and thought, I did all my research. I said, let's go, let's do this. And so a year and a half later, we were opened. I rent about 15 apartment units. We now have 32 of them off the streets. We
amazing.
offer them independent living skills. We house them, feed them, clothe them. We get them into job opportunities,
Resume
schooling,
building.
college. Some have to finish high school.
This is extraordinary. Why are you not
amazing.
running the entire
That's what I was
national?
like.
Yeah.
Moms for president. Okay.
Yeah, really. No, I mean, I think this is an extraordinary thing. You looked at a problem like you were fixing the first part of this, and like all of a sudden they're without.
Right.
And
Right.
whether or not you know, as a side note, do some of the foster families continue to foster regardless of the contractual? I mean, I don't mean to be so like transactional here,
Okay.
but I mean, like, will they continue with those children like after 21? Like, we don't care. We
Oh,
wanna
more
maintain.
most
okay.
do. Most do. After all of that is said and done, they stay in touch. They're now considered family.
Okay, that's great.
So yes.
Have you seen adoptions?
Oh, we have tons of adoptions. It's a great thing. There's legal guardianship, there's adoptions, some reunify with family, some still age out and they go and try it on their own. And I just kind of look at them like, I'll see you in a little while. And they do come back
That's great.
because they figure, well, we can't do this. So it's great to, like I said, to offer that extended care program for them to return and get a second opportunity to try and make it work.
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Well, listen, I mean, I'm astounded. You've like actually, I mean, this is not, I know nonprofits for not profit,
Right.
but I mean, you're really following the rule book for creating a very large, successful business. You're filling needs, you're pivoting, you're changing direction,
Right.
where the problems are, you're fixing
Right.
it, where the funding needs. whatever.
Resolution
So, yeah,
focused.
Yeah. I mean,
right,
that's what it's all
right.
about.
That's
So,
what it's all
you know,
about in
so
business,
it's true.
especially, and being fluid. You know,
Yes.
in any market, in any type of business, you have to be fluid. You have to be resolution focused, and you always have to be consistently learning. Things change all the time. And especially in our industry, we follow a different path. We have to, you know, it becomes political.
Sure.
It
Like
beco-
everything?
like everything else. And so, you know, you kind of change with the tides. But like I said, if you're fluid and you're foundationally stable, and as a business person, you're always keeping your mind very stable. And like I said, keeping others around you just as stable. You're maintaining your staff, you're keeping everybody very at a very nice, mild pace, you know, because you can get ramped up in our business. There's a lot of barriers. A lot of barriers.
Let me ask you a question. There are barriers. I mean, what you do is extraordinary. Let me ask you a question, because this is always interesting to me. You have all these people that could provide these amazing homes. It's, you know, I've been, you know, involved in some animal rescue, and there are all these like great houses, and I'm not trying to line people up with
Sure.
dogs or cats. It's not what I'm trying to do. That didn't come out right, so excuse me. What I'm trying to say is, like, you know, there are all these great houses that could really provide stable, great environments. How do you get those people that are sort of on the fence, or like never thought about it, or you know, like, I don't know. I'm
You
saying
know what,
like
Mike?
this,
That's a great
I'm saying for
question.
myself, like, I was like, you know, my wife and I don't have kids. We don't have children, and I always sort of felt like, you know, it was a major missing part of my existence, and to this day I feel it's like, you know, a missing part. So I mean, it's just, you know, I don't think it was like for us, maybe it's just ignorance. We just never like thought about it. But I'm like listening to you, maybe we should have done that, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people really don't know or understand, but a lot of people fear it because if you think about it, it's kind of taboo in our society.
Really,
It's kind of taboo. It can be negative. I mean, there's documentaries about, you know, how kids are treated in foster care, and normally that happens in homes that are overseen by county or governmental entities. We're a private agency, and so we're in the homes more.
That
There's
are
much
truly-
more supervision.
Yeah.
There's much more education. There's much more encouragement and support. But recruitment can be quite a task because some people don't want to take that leap. Some people are afraid of the behaviors. Some people are really just cautious about maybe they have other children in the home. How is this going to affect my own children? Or, how's this going to affect my relationship? What is it that you provide to these children? Do we have to provide everything? So really it comes down to education, educating people. That's it.
So it's all education. And what about this match? So like do you look at the home, you look at the
It's a
people,
great
you do
question.
what do you do? Like,
Great question.
how do you figure that out?
So that's where some of our agencies are a little different. Some agencies really push for their own agenda, and I'm totally against that because I'm never going to tell you what to do in your own home. And so the match is completely up to you. Gender, age, nationality, whatever that looks like for you guys, that's what you'll get. I'm never going to force or push. I don't fill beds for checks. I don't do anything like that. This is to make sure that the youth are placed in a loving, caring home. And whatever that looks like for you, then you're going to be the decision maker.
So it's tough to do this.
It's
Really
really tough. And
Yeah, I
no
was going to
one-
say, you made it sound easy.
no
I'm
one
like,
knows.
oh, wow. You've got a lot going
Yeah.
on there. So it's like, you have to be non-invasive and ask the hard questions. You have
Yeah.
to be, you really have to do like probably one of the most difficult job interviews of all because these are not just business decisions. You can't
Exactly.
fire people. It's like actually,
Right.
this is a potential lifetime
Yes.
commitment.
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
investigate it. So you must be really good at the interview process.
It's
Really
an
good.
It's an intensive study. It takes a lot of really just investing in this family and learning each other. And it is very personal. It can be quite invasive,
would
but you
imagine.
got to get to the
Yeah, I would
nitty gritty.
imagine,
It has
Yeah,
to be,
you got to get to the
right?
nitty gritty. So, yeah.
And just the amount of obviously kids that you've seen throughout the years, and obviously the families that you do bring in, it's super impactful. And even, the timing of it all, I know we just talked about our last couple episodes with Jake or whatever, and we brought up Simone Biles. Simone Biles was also a foster kid,
I know
and
that.
Yes.
not a lot of people do,
Yes.
right? And as soon as she brought that up, that kind of blew up within the foster population. They're like, oh my gosh,
Right, right.
and it's one of those things. It's like that's why you do it, right? Like you bring these kids from a traumatic situation and you do your best to help them succeed in society. And I remember you brought it up to me saying like a lot of these kids just get tossed away or tossed to the side and no one thinks about them. They're forgotten about from our society, from our communities, and it's wrong on so many levels. And the work that you do, the work that your agency does in this sector and everything about it is so meaningful. And I'm just like, God, we need to continue to shed and
Bring
highlight,
awareness.
bring awareness to it because these kids are our future, and we
Yes.
need to make sure that we're constantly making sure that they're okay, that they're taken care of, that they're mentally stable after everything that they've been through, because we're all products of our environment.
And you know what, son? I'm so glad that you said that because a lot of people really don't understand, and Rodney has heard me cry on several phone conversations. They are a forgotten population. They really are. And they get hidden in the shadows. And that's just another part of our job is to bring awareness to how amazing and resilient these youth and children are.
There's an odd thing, like I think it's like people are moved by narratives, or like it's like any kind of business or whatever. It's like a narrative. What's your story? Like you're explaining this, and it's moving. I'm doing these things, and people want to help you. I remember many years ago, I was obviously, as everybody on this knows, I'm in the real estate business, and we sell, hyper luxury. I would say, what is luxury? Everything you don't need. So we sell. Basically, what we sell is what everybody doesn't need.
Right.
Okay? And so, so the end result is, I was watching HBO, and there was a documentary on the homeless children of Orange County, and when you're driving on to the 55 and you're going from Newport Boulevard, there are all these sort of motels. The motel, I remember the exact documentary, but it's like really moving. This is many, many years ago. And like all these, we were like selling, $3 to $50 million houses, and we're all like just completely ignorant of, people living next door.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing this, the horrors of like these poor children. And I remember saying, in our company, like, hey, let's give money and, we'll give a percentage of the commission to this and we'll match it. But it's fascinating, like, I don't mean this in a negative way, but I was moved by that program, but there was a missing link of not showing that program to the people that I was asking for them to contribute.
Wow.
So like I was like, wow, why isn't anybody? We were doing it. Why isn't everybody like doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was a missing part. Like, hey,
Yeah.
So what are you doing? Because you're a great spokesperson. What are you doing to further your goal? I mean, this is it's like a movement. Like it really is. I mean, because it's amazing what you're doing. Like think about the people that you're helping and creating, or maybe the next person to be the president,
Right.
or the next
Right.
Simone Biles, or
Right.
I mean,
And that's why we're so passionate about what we do, because we really are just investing in our communities as a whole. And we really want to bring a lot of people on board to see that and to be a part of that experience, and which is why we try and reach out to the community as much as possible to bring as many resources for our youth and donations and experiences, things that they've never experienced before. And Rodney's really helping me with that, reaching out to community collaborations. Some of these
you
kids.
should do a podcast.
Right.
No, I'm serious. Bring these kids on, or the families.
You're
I mean,
right.
you really
are
should.
so
It's like,
right, Mike. That is
hearing
a
this.
great
Sorry.
idea, because some of them are very well spoken.
Yeah.
A lot of them are extremely intelligent and smart and really do like talking about their story. And so the barrier with that is the confidentiality. They can no
Sure.
longer be in care, so we can't put them out to the public a lot.
Sure.
But I went out one time and I said, I need you guys to buy them all journals. They need to write. They need to speak on what they've experienced.
Wow.
And you should see some of the things they've written. I said, I need them to add in art and whatever they want to draw about. I mean, we were just trying to be as creative as possible. Some of them rapped about it. Some of them sang about it, drew about it, colored about it. And so we really like them to be able to speak about it so that it doesn't seem so secretive. We want them to bring out their experiences so that they can see what they've accomplished.
Right.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Wow, this
that's
is
amazing. Yeah.
Really, no, it's really.
I was like, Mike,
great.
it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna
there
be a
you
good
go.
one.
I mean, it's really extraordinary what you have done, and
Yeah.
you've dedicated your life, your capability, your extraordinary business skills, obviously,
Yes.
because that's what it takes.
Yeah.
It does.
And leadership,
does,
passion.
yes.
I mean, all the things what it takes to be successful, and the outcome is obviously fantastic. The outcome is what you want, and think about what you've done to help society. So, I am a huge fan now. I
See?
think this is great. So this is awesome.
And
to
speaking
hear.
of accomplishments, the show that we're on is about entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And we know a couple years ago you won Entrepreneur of the Year.
Oh, yes,
Wow.
I
So,
there you go.
did.
Congrats on
I
that.
did.
Obviously, I was there to witness that moment.
Yes.
But my question for you in regards to that is what exactly it took to get there, and truly, like, how did that moment feel for you? Like, I know that I saw it and I felt it. I want you to explain to the viewers, like, what that moment felt for you after everything you've been through in your entire life to get to an achievement such as that.
Yeah. Great question, son. That was, it was a culmination of not just hard work. We all do that as entrepreneurs. It was entitled "The Spirit of the Entrepreneur," and a lot of that is so many things. It's I drew from where I first started, and really just the drive and the motivation to be better. to be a great example for my children, for my family, for society in general, and to just pull all of the knowledge and all of the experience that I had to make our community a better place, a better world. But I really just tapped into the population that I love, the population that I serve, and felt their spirits as well, just kind of inside of me,
Yeah.
right? Because I can see each face in my mind as I work daily. My daily grind, my daily hustle is really about them. And in the office, I've asked my staff to build big, like all of our pictures are hanging on our walls so that it's a reminder for all of us why we do what we do, who we serve, where are they now? Let's say a prayer for them. What are they doing? Did they go to college? Did they get adopted? I mean, just seeing the faces is the spirit of what we do. And so that award, because it was a very competitive award, and I was seeing pictures, and they came to on site and they filmed us. They were in my massive warehouse of where I keep all of our Amazon donations and our sporting equipment. We have basketball hoops for them to come and shoot out if they're having a bad day or whatever. And, even the cameramen were like, oh my gosh, we just kind of thought, all these kids were out there in the homes. We had no idea you had these huge warehouses and you do all of this, and we give barbecues for our staff. And, a lot of people don't see what goes on behind the scenes. I was grateful that they came out. I was grateful that they filmed all of that, because when I was presented the award, I thought, this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
This is why I'm here. This is who I serve. My staff plays a vital role. I'm so blessed to have an amazing staff that is so in tuned and just their loyalty. They're all a part of the vision. They're all a part of the vision.
It's all the component structures, like
Right.
team, culture.
There you go.
Capability,
Yes.
vision.
Yes.
Direction, narrative,
Right.
reminding what you're doing. I mean, you are very, very successful.
Yes,
So that is a
yes.
very, it's incredible. How did you, I know we're sort of backtracking. How did you learn that? Was that just natural? Was you just a naturally born entrepreneur in your
I think
makeup?
so, Mike. Like when you ask me right now, I'm like,
Well, you were the
oh my
person was
gosh.
always leading,
I hate to
whatever,
come back
whatever
to it.
school,
I hate to come back to it a lot. I think
the lemonade stand story.
Right.
What in the world?
I think it was all the adversity, because I think that some people could kind of take a beating and become exhausted, whereas I took a beating and I thought, now I'm gonna flip it and kick your butt. So it just made me that more motivated to get out there and conquer and show the doubters and show the naysayers, this is what I'm about. This is what I need to show you. I need to cast all of that away, break off of that negativity, and just be successful and show everybody this is what it takes.
So the adversity or the failure and the pivot
Motivated me.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's
Times
like
a
it-
I love
thousand.
that.
It's really,
talk
I would
about.
say it's funny, but we talk about that all the time. What is the motivation? Where did it come from? So, you hit bottom and you're like, okay, where am I going?
Right.
Am I going to
Right.
make this happen or not? And, the anger,
Exactly.
the force, the need, the telling everybody off or whatever. So
Right, right.
That's great. So, yeah,
It's kind of a crossroads,
it is a
right?
crossroads.
It's a crossroads. Mike,
Would-
you know that.
Were
And-
I do, yes. Did you have, this is personal, you don't have to answer this. Did you have adversity as a child too, or no?
A lot.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you did?
Tons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Tons.
so this just was,
Started at a very young age.
so this was just a continued cycle that you were going to break.
True. Mike, and when you asked me that, it's like it was like almost normal for me. Adversity was almost normal.
So you were
it was like the
normalized.
norm.
Yeah. that's-
So I just kind of went on the path where like, oh, that's okay. This is happening. Oh, that's okay. This is what, crashed. Oh, no big deal. I'm used to that.
Wow.
So I just kind of kept going. And like I said, I learned that education was the key. Although I did get educated later in life, I had a lot of street sense. So that played into me being a really great business person. Because even as a female entrepreneur, I've had a lot of adversity with male
I
entrepreneurs.
was like, you still probably came
Right?
from a male-dominated space.
Male-dominated
I
space.
would imagine. So that's what I was wondering too. Is, and I don't even know if we've talked about this, but like, what would you say some of your advice would be for up and coming, female entrepreneurs? Like, how, what advice would you give them to help them succeed in this new day and age?
That's a great question. Stay the course.
Yeah.
Never change who you are. Never lower yourself to anybody else's standards. Actually, raise your standards. Be classy. Be graceful in all senses of business. And it's better to speak less and show. Show what you are. Show the person that you are through your work. And to really, really, like I said, like I taught you, is to be respectful of everybody. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody's going to say what they're going to say. But you know me. I'm very quiet and I work in silence.
Uh-oh.
And I let my success speak for itself.
Yeah. Because your results showed that.
My results show it.
And always have.
That is awesome. I should learn from that because I talk a lot. I remember my mom saying to me, "If you don't toot your own horn, no one else will."
That's
I'm like, I've
also
been
true,
tooting
though.
away.
Ever since.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Is there one, from a person who has had so much adversity and breaking that adversity or just busting it, is there, it's really on the same question you have. Is there just one event that is finally like enough is enough? Can you lead back to that? Like, I've had it. That's it. Or you can't, and you don't have to share if you don't want to. Or is it everything? Just like, we're done.
How long is this podcast? Okay.
Write a book, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's told me that 1,000 times.
Like you need to.
There are so many. I really can't choose one, but I do remember. Our car broke down. It was just me and the boys, and my car broke. Couldn't afford to fix it, and I had to go grocery shopping. And Rodney was the oldest, although I think they were maybe 7 and 6, maybe.
Wow.
We had to take the bus, and Rodney dropped the bag, and literally our fruit was rolling down the bus, and he was freaked out. And I was like, it's okay. Let's just go pick up our fruit or whatever. And he just kind of looked at me. And I saw those faces, and I saw that we were on public transportation, and I think that was what shifted my mindset. And I thought, no, this is not the way life's going to be for me or them. And I enrolled in school the next week.
There you go.
Yes, that was it. Because I remember seeing the oranges roll down and Rodney's going down there, and I'm like, no, this is not the plan. This is not the way life's supposed to be for us.
Oh my God.
That's a great story.
That is a great story. It's funny because I
don't
didn't even
remember that.
remember that one.
Yeah. What do you remember?
I was thinking of another one, and it was
gosh.
It was deep. So this is when you were, still like school stuff and 3 jobs. And I finally get this answer later on in life. I think I finally got it this year or last year. But I was like, Moms, there was a night where she sadly just lost her 3rd job. So she lost that one. And I was like, we're in the car together. she's crying to me, and she's like, I promise you everything's gonna be okay. And I just have no idea what's going on. I just see my mom crying. I'm like, Moms, what's up? What's going on? I'm just so lost as a kid. And you know, I finally figured out later on in life, once you told me, I was like, Ma, do you remember that moment? She's like, do you know why I lost that job? I said, no. She's like, someone wanted me to lie and I couldn't lie. It was wrong. And I'm like, oh my God. And I remember after that moment, she always said, I promise you everything is going to be okay. And I was like, whew, that was powerful. And you know what? Everything was okay. We were struggling, but she always made sure that my brother Royal and I would never really see it. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like, and I did feel bad because there's times where she would struggle in silence. And as I got older and growing up in high school and stuff, she would sometimes come in my room and just be like, oh my God, I'm just going through it. I'm like, well, talk to me. And that is truly where we became best friends, you know, because it's like she didn't have like, you know, she didn't have someone else there to talk to or vent to about this. So I was like, talk to me. What's going on? And I would finally hear all these things going on. And she was just like, no matter what, like never compromise who you are. No matter what's going on. Don't lie for anybody. Never disrespect anybody. Don't change who you are to just make it through or skate by or, you know, be foul or lie through something. And I just knew, I was just like, that was just another big life lesson, something that I already knew because she already taught me that on a daily basis. But to hear that that is why someone let go. And now, obviously, the success that she is today, everything happens for a reason. But I'm like, you know, how dare you do that to someone who is in this position as a single mom, raising 2 kids, working 3 jobs, going to college, trying to do their best to make it through life. And that is what you do. And I just I'll never forget that moment of you crying, you wiped your tears. I was like, Mom, like, talk to me. And she's just like, everything's going to be okay. I promise.
Well, you're an amazing coach.
Yeah.
And a leader. And, you know, do you ever do like, for other people that have been in your shoes, do you ever do like the sort of support? I mean, I know you're doing it, expressing it through your existing nonprofit, but do you ever do it for other single moms or things like that? Do you ever do these kind
and I
of
would
like
love the
support group?
opportunity, Mike. I mean, that's really great that you have
I mean,
asked
not that you
that.
have enough time to do that. Oh, by the way,
I would
there's
make
another
time.
Still, we got to find a Facebook group or something.
I would make time.
Yeah.
That's really important. It's really important for me. Like I said, I'm all about giving back. I would love to open my time and calendar to do that. It's so important.
Yeah, because you have a lot to share, and you know these stories are motivating, and these stories of, you know, just like the car is not working and the utter failure, embarrassment. I don't want my children, the eyes of your children looking at you with the fruit rolling around on the bus floor. I mean, I can see it. Like, you can visualize it, you can see it, and you're like, this, no more.
Right.
We're done. And I mean, I think those are like important things to share because it does create motivations. It does create a floor for people. Like, well, you did it, and how do you do that? And I feel that, or you know, people are. And you're right. People do get beaten down. You see it all the time. You know, in the most horrific ways. And you know, how do you get them going again? So, wow, it's amazing. Really fantastic. You're a very, very strong person.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, amazingly strong mom. So,
Yeah.
You know, she makes me look very, very weak. So
No,
no, I'm saying that that's, you know, it's when I see people are able to, you know, really accomplish with most adversity versus, you know, somebody like me who had zero adversity. I mean, yeah, we had stumbles in business and things like that. I didn't have that upbringing, you know, I didn't have those things. And I think it's amazing to see. It's like it's very motivating to me. I'm like, wow, that's amazing, you know.
Yeah.
And what do I need to do? Like this is a motivating conversation.
Yeah.
What do I need to do help others, even though I love to help others, like you know, in a different way. Like how to, like, not only from a business perspective, but you know, from a life perspective, like I got to get you out of this place, or you know, you know, to get to the place where you can start making failures in business.
Yeah,
right.
You know, right. You know, like this is the first part. Then all of a sudden you're failing in business. That's a whole nother problem.
Right.
You know, I didn't make money. I'm like, all right, well, that's not really an issue.
You're gonna get beat up in life. You're gonna get beat up in business.
Right.
But how do you pivot? How do you? I love how you said stay fluid. Like
Right.
something's always gonna happen to you. Adversity is always gonna come. how do you shift your mindset and refocus to understand how you can achieve your goals?
Yes.
I love that you
Especially
brought that
in
up.
contemporary society. I mean,
Yeah.
we have this place we are on a national conversation where,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it is an odd thing. There's like two Americas. And what are we doing?
Mm-hmm. Literally.
You know, like
Right.
what?
We're so
Where are we
divided.
going? Are we
Right.
helping others? Are we not helping others? Are we
Yeah.
ignorant of this? So
Yes.
it is a, you know, I'm old enough to remember another time. You know, there's that great book that Tom Brokaw wrote called The Greatest Generation. And if you've read it, Tom Brokaw, which you wouldn't even know who he is, was you know, you're too young, but he was a newscaster, and he
Yep.
was I think he was the anchor for NBC News. When we all gave our attention to these newscasts, like, and everyone doesn't get their news that way
Right.
anymore. But
Right.
by the way, I'm still watching newscasts.
So am I.
I'm still watching NBC News.
She woke up this morning. She's like, "Hey, I wake up 6:45. I need Today's show on. I need NBC on. Like, I need
It's
my
serious.
news." I was
It's
like, "Okay,
serious.
like,
Yeah.
all right, Mom."
You know,
I just go
I
on
watch
Twitter or
Lester
X,
Holt every
like-
night. And I get my news. So
Same here.
there you
Oh
go.
my God, okay.
So I think that you know, I forgot where I was going with this, but I just think
Okay.
that, you know, this national conversation is so important to really revisit, you know, what we're all about and how do you do this and what are you
Right.
doing and how you're bettering our society.
Yeah.
So bravo. I mean,
Thank
really,
you.
that's fantastic.
Thanks, Mike.
An honor to have met you and an honor to have have you
you.
being on this show and
Honor to be here.
and whatever, you know, you need help, please let us all know and we'll be
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
That's
yes.
I know that was going to be kind of like my follow-up last thing. I was just like, hey, I know that we talk about donations. Where can people find it? Like, where can people go and
Yes,
we navigate
yes.
them to kind of send in donations or see how they can help and support?
Right. It's our website.
Okay.
It's our website.
And what is that?
It's heartmattersffa.org.
Okay.
There's a donation button on there. There's a lot of information about all of our departments, our programs, how we serve. All the information's on there, contact information. So that's the best form of
Okay, so let me do
contact.
this again. Heartmattersffa.org.
FFA.org.
There we go.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm going to coach you. Can we get a shorter website?
I know.
Sorry. No, it's just a marketing thing. I know. It's not really relevant to this whole conversation.
know.
And I don't need to end like that.
No,
Oh my God. I'm really sorry, but like, wait a second.
It's true. It's true. We've
Sorry.
been trying to do that forever. We're so
Excuse
busy.
me to make that comment.
No, I need it.
We talk about it all the time. She's like, Rodney, she's like, I know everything else, but I don't know, marketing, branding, all this stuff. I was
Oh,
like,
gosh,
I'll
we
do my
don't
best to
know
help.
that.
But she is,
We don't know
she's-
that.
you guys have
Yeah.
grown so much and exponentially in such a
I know.
fast
We
way.
need to change it.
You're still trying to like learn and adapt.
Yeah.
So that is the next part of like learning that, we're still doing, we're working through right now.
Right.
But I love that. I love that piece of coaching
Sorry.
right there.
Excuse me.
No,
probably
your
like, Mike,
business
you
mind
kidding me?
couldn't stop yourself.
Well, no,
You're
I'm like
wait a
thinking about
minute.
it. Like I'm thinking about all the things that you're doing right
Yeah.
now, and I'm thinking, God,
It's
like,
amazing.
your narrative is amazing. Your story is amazing. Like, is this all? I mean, this is ignorant because I didn't look at
No, we gotta spread the word. Yeah, that's
FFA.org yet, so I will look at it. But I'm just thinking, like, is all of this information, is all this conversation, is all of these things, is this all there? Is this narrative there? Is this, is this your broadcasting? I mean, this is,
a good
this is
question.
your world. And so,
Right.
it's really from a marketing point of view, because unfortunately, it's even like, everything comes down to the same thing, regardless of your mission, even in like healthcare, you know what I mean? Like hospitals, like, we go and we get sick and we look at these doctors as omnipotent,
Yeah.
and that like, you don't realize that these are businesses.
Right.
Like, they're making money and
Yes.
they have to run, even, I guess the hospitals are nonprofits, some of them anyway, but how does this work? We don't
still have
think
a
about
market,
that.
yeah.
But like, how do you know? What do you do? How do you explain? What do you do? So all of this information, I mean, was incredible. Like, this is your narrative.
Yes.
And so,
Yes.
broadcasting your own thing with a better website.
Okay.
name. I'm just having fun. Sorry.
Moms, we talked about a lot of deep, heavy stuff today.
Yes, we
Okay.
did.
And I'm so glad we did.
Okay.
What I'm sure Mike and I are wondering is, when you leave the office, like when you leave in this podcast, like what are some things you do to truly like unwind or guilty pleasures or show or TV or anything like that? Like, what do you do to kind of get away and escape a little bit and kind of calm your mind down? or self-care or whatever you do? Like, what is
Yeah,
it?
that's a great question. You actually nailed it right on the head. I've become really involved in my self-care. So we're talking massages, facials, even my own self-care routine, skincare routine, really relaxing. I brunch a lot.
There we go. We're big brunch people.
We're
Big brunch people.
foodies. So I like to try new places, either with family or even alone. Sometimes I just want to be peaceful, or I'll go to a winery or something like that. I like to be real quiet. I have a lot of questions thrown at me all day, all night. As you know, we're on call 24/7, so I just kind of break away, and I like to be quiet. Yeah,
I love that.
yeah. I like
And
it.
I do know Mom's new favorite show is Love is Blind UK.
Love is Blind
What is
UK.
your-
I'm
see
sorry.
this.
No,
I'm a
seriously.
fan. I'm a fan.
No,
I'm a
last time
fan.
I think we talked about, you and I talked about Love Island. That's a different show. This is Love is Blind, a little bit more mature, elevated in a
right.
sense. People, a little bit older than me, but they're just so focused on actually finding love. Do you know the premise of the show, Mike?
No idea, but
Okay,
I
well,
should
see-
know this. But
Okay.
I hear everyone's talking about it.
Yeah,
Now
it's
we're going
great.
to talk about it,
Yeah,
Mike. Okay,
all right.
imagine
It's
you're in that room, I'm in this room, there's a wall in between. Those two people are trying to find love.
They're
You're
dating.
kidding.
They're
Through a
dating.
wall.
Sometimes they do. But what it is after like few days in the pods, that person has to decide whether or not they're going to propose. That's how crazy it is.
You're kidding.
Yes,
Yeah.
not just date,
Oh, I gotta
Mike,
watch this.
propose. You got
This
to
is like-
watch.
I gotta watch this.
You gotta
because
watch.
it actually redacts down to what we really should be caring about one
See?
another. Not like looking.
No
Yes,
looks,
Yeah,
no fake.
so
They
true.
see
Yes.
Even
nothing.
though that's not what we do, but like
Yeah.
it
Right.
should be that way.
They see nothing. But that's why they
It
they
probably
start.
works.
See, and it's a whole experiment, and it does work. Sorry, I just got off on a
No,
tangent,
but
but they got
yeah,
super
yeah.
excited because I got to put Mike on this show
All right,
too
yeah,
because we
yeah.
love it.
All right, I'll
You
watch
got to
it.
watch.
All right.
So next episode, I'm gonna follow up
Right.
Mike, see if he wants.
Yeah, I will watch it.
Yeah. Yes, you've got homework, Mike.
See?
Yeah. All right.
No, please.
Moms, thank you so much for being here today. All right, I know, obviously, just a little bias. It's no secret, but this is definitely my favorite guest so
Oh,
far.
for sure. Yeah, it's nice.
But I'm so grateful for everything that you've done. Everything that you've been through. Hearing your struggle, your success, your trials, tribulations, everything that you've been through. So I thank you so much for being my Wonder Woman, being my hero, and everything that you've brought into my life and taught me and turning me into the man that I am today. So I love you. Thank you so much. And
Well, thank you.
thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you, guys. Thank both of you. I
Good. Thank
really
you so much. Well, I
appreciate
can't really add to that.
Yeah, we should have never
That's
had
like-
Mike
That's
follow
like,
up.
yeah, I can't follow that one
I'm
up. so-
sorry.
Right.
Yeah, Mike's like, thanks.
Other than yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna leave that alone. But it's really an honor, and it's it's wonderful to be around people that are selfless and give of themselves and share their story and create wonderful things for the future. And I mean, you really are leaving an extraordinary legacy, and that's what it's all about.
Thank
so
you.
absolute honor.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you both. I enjoyed myself. Thank you so much for listening.
Of course.
Always, yeah. Thank you again, and we'll definitely follow up with the nonprofit, okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Mike, so obviously, I mean, no matter what, that was going to be a heavy one for me. It's probably my
Sure.
most
Yeah.
important one to date. But I think the biggest takeaway that I had with Mom's conversation today, is the fact that she said one of the things that led to her success is staying fluid. And we've had such great guests. And, when her and I have talked, that's something that she's never even mentioned to me before. So I'm so glad that she brought that nugget out today. Is like, hey, no matter what you're going through with business or your entrepreneurial journey, whatever it may be, you have to stay fluid throughout that process because you're going to get adversity, you're going to get challenges, you're going to get changes each and every day, each and every week throughout running your business and your organization. You're going to have so much stuff pop up. So I love that she said you have to stay fluid and be a resolution seeker, and you have to be a problem solver. She's always been such a great leader because she knows exactly how to steer the ship. But hey, when she goes down or when she's sick, has she taught and mentored other people within her sphere to take over when she's down? And she has successfully. We've seen it so much, and she slightly brings it up. But I'm so glad she brought up the point of being fluid through, through the rain, the storm, the sunshine. You never know what you're going to get, but you know that you have to adjust your mindset and be ready to pivot, which is exactly what we talk about.
Yeah. Well, how do I say this? First of all, thanks for bringing your mom, and thanks for being so sharing your innermost feelings. And I think it was really an honest conversation. I love when people are so, it's overused, real. And I saw this tremendous respect and love and kindness and this amazing relationship that you and your mom have. I also think that your mom is truly one of the strongest people that I have ever had the pleasure of meeting, and seeing what she's done with her resilience and helping and sharing those stories, and seeing where she's going and sharing her strength, capability, knowledge, her power in this universe with others, and helping others to achieve the same goals. So, I mean, she's really one of those special people. I'm not just saying that because you're in front of me. I really mean that. And I think that, sharing this with the planet, as many people want to listen to this, is amazing. So, I mean, she was just special in every which way, and what we all should strive for as human beings. She really is what it means to be human. And I really applaud and envy, admire. I think she's extraordinary. So anyway, you're a lucky man. So, all right?
I'm definitely very blessed and very grateful for her being my mom and being the person to bring me into this world and teach me everything that I need to know in order to succeed. And obviously, anyone who meets her understands why I am the way that I am.
Yes,
so
I would say,
I'm really, really grateful that we brought her on today and got to hear some of her wisdom. And even for you to kind of give some tips and tricks too, so that meant a lot. And I know that she had a ton of fun. Her first ever, podcast in studio interviews. So I know she had a ton of fun. So
I'm glad. So.
Thank you so much for that.
Of course.
We'll definitely be on the lookout for what they have coming up. I know they got a food drive, Christmas stuff coming up, and back to school. They got some good stuff coming up.
Absolutely.
So I know we're always looking for donations for any type of nonprofit, and here to share and spread that wealth as much as possible.
Absolutely.
So, that was just an amazing show. Another amazing show with me and Mike. All right. So thank you so much for joining us today. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and show us some love. Hit that follow button for us. And we thank you so much for joining in. We'll see you next time on Read the Tape.
Thank you.